The shrill ring of the phone pierced the quiet Brooklyn night at 2 in the morning, yanking Austin from the comfort of Benjamin's arms. His mother's voice on the other end carried the familiar mix of urgency and expectation that always left him feeling trapped. "Austin, the family needs you to step up again. Your brother Ryan is our pride. He has his career and family to focus on, so we're asking you to cover the house repairs and the medical bills this quarter. It's about $20,000. You can afford it with your job in the city." Austin sat up, his free hand running through his hair as Benjamin stirred beside him. The apartment they shared in Brooklyn was their sanctuary, filled with bookshelves overflowing with novels Benjamin taught in his high school classes and sketches from Austin's advertising campaigns. They had met 5 years ago at a book reading in Manhattan, and since then Benjamin had become his anchor, the man who understood his struggles with family acceptance without ever pushing too hard. Austin had come out to his parents when he was 20, and while they said the right things, their actions showed the truth. They never asked about Benjamin, never invited him to holidays, instead focusing all their attention on Ryan, the older brother who had married young, had 2 kids, and worked as a corporate lawyer in Chicago. "I don't know, Mom. That's a lot, and I have my own expenses here," Austin replied, his voice low to not disturb the peace of their home. "You are the single one without responsibilities, Austin. Ryan is the one we are proud of. He makes us look good at family gatherings. Please do this for us," she said, her tone turning to guilt that he knew all too well. After the call, Austin stared at the ceiling for hours, Benjamin eventually waking and pulling him close. "Another one," Benjamin whispered, his voice full of understanding. Austin nodded, explaining the situation. The two men talked until dawn, Benjamin offering his savings if needed, but urging Austin to set boundaries. The next day at work in the bustling Manhattan ad agency, Austin wired the money, feeling the weight on his shoulders. In the evening, they walked in Central Park, holding hands, discreetly talking about their future. The pressure was building, and Austin wondered how long he could keep balancing his secret life with the demands from home. That week at the agency, Austin led a team meeting on a new campaign for a major client, his ideas sharp and creative, earning praise from boss. Yet every time his phone buzzed with a text from his mother thanking him for the transfer, he felt a twist in his gut. Ryan had posted on social media about his latest golf outing with the kids, the perfect family photo that their parents liked and shared endlessly. Austin remembered growing up in the Chicago suburbs how Ryan got the new bike first, the better grades celebrated with family dinners, while Austin sat quietly sketching in his room, hiding his first crush on a boy from the soccer team. When he finally told his parents, they hugged him, but the conversation stopped there, and Ryan became the shining example, the one who followed the path they expected. Benjamin noticed the distance during dinner that night in their small kitchen. He made pasta with fresh basil from the windowsill plant and poured 2 glasses of red wine. "Talk to me, babe," he said, sliding the plate across the table. Austin opened up about the childhood memories, the way his parents' eyes lit up for Ryan but dimmed for him. Benjamin listened, then shared his own story of coming out in a small town in Ohio and the slow rebuilding of family ties. "You don't have to carry this alone," he said, reaching for Austin's hand. They finished the meal and stepped out onto their rooftop for fresh air, the city lights below sparkling like stars. Austin felt a moment of peace in Benjamin's arms, but the bills kept coming in his mind. By the end of the week, another call came, this time from his father. "The car needs work too, son, and Ryan is too busy with his big case. You know how proud we are of him." Austin agreed to send more, feeling the resentment grow. At work, he threw himself into the project, staying late to avoid thinking. Benjamin surprised him with tickets to a Broadway show that weekend, a small escape. During the intermission, they stood in the lobby, Benjamin whispering jokes that made Austin laugh for the first time in days. The show was about second chances, and Austin wondered if his family would ever give him the same. Back home, they curled up on the couch, Benjamin reading poetry aloud, his voice steady and calming. Austin knew the support was real, but the family pull was strong. The next morning, he booked a flight to Chicago for the weekend to talk in person, hoping to finally set things straight. The decision felt like a step toward clarity, but deep down he feared it would only make the cracks wider. The flight to Chicago felt longer than usual, Austin staring out the window at the clouds below, his mind replaying the late-night calls. Benjamin had driven him to the airport that morning, kissing him goodbye at the curb with a promise to call every day. "You don't owe them your happiness, Austin," he had said, his eyes full of concern. In the terminal, Austin texted Benjamin a quick heart emoji, feeling the warmth of their connection even miles away. Landing in Chicago, he rented a car and drove to the suburbs where the family house sat on a quiet street lined with maple trees. His mother greeted him at the door with a hug that felt obligatory, then launched into praise for Ryan, who was coming for dinner later. At work back in New York, the previous days had been a blur of client meetings and deadlines. Austin excelling but distracted. His boss had pulled him aside after a successful pitch, praising his creativity and hinting at a promotion. Austin smiled, but inside he wondered if success in the city meant nothing to his family, unless it translated to checks. Benjamin had surprised him with a homemade lunch at the office one day, the two of them eating on a bench in the park nearby, talking about taking a real vacation soon, perhaps to California. The idea lifted Austin's spirits, and he imagined walking hand in hand on a beach far from family expectations. Now in Chicago, the dinner table was set with the usual spread: pot roast and mashed potatoes. His father sat at the head, praising Ryan for closing a major deal the week before. Ryan arrived with his wife and kids, the children running to their grandparents with drawings that earned oohs and ahs. Austin helped in the kitchen, his mother chatting about neighborhood gossip but never asking about his life in New York. When Ryan pulled him aside later in the backyard, he clapped Austin on the back. "Thanks for helping with the bills, bro. You're the best." The words felt hollow, knowing Ryan had not offered to contribute despite his high salary. That night in his old bedroom, Austin called Benjamin, the connection clear across states. "I miss you already," Austin said, leaning against the window. Benjamin shared about his day, teaching Shakespeare to teenagers, and how one student reminded him of Austin at that age, struggling with identity. They talked for an hour, Benjamin encouraging him to speak up at the family gathering the next day. The following morning, Austin joined his parents for coffee, his father mentioning another expense: the driveway repair. "We know you can handle it, son. Ryan is our pride, but you are our rock." The guilt trip hit hard, and Austin nodded, agreeing to more transfers. Back in New York, after the short trip, Austin threw himself into work, finalizing the campaign that landed the promotion. Benjamin celebrated with a special dinner at their favorite Italian spot in Brooklyn, the two of them toasting to the future. Over dessert, Benjamin suggested the California trip, a week away from everything. Austin agreed, the idea of sunshine and waves sounding like freedom. They spent the evening planning the itinerary, including a hike in Yosemite and time on Malibu Beach. The romantic visions helped ease the tension from the Chicago visit, but new bills arrived by email that night: more medical costs and Ryan needing help with a family vacation fund. Austin paid them quietly, the resentment building like a storm. At the office the next day, he confided in a close coworker about the family dynamics, receiving sympathetic advice to draw lines. Benjamin sensed the shift and planned a rooftop dinner at home with string lights and take out the city skyline their backdrop. As they danced slowly under the golden hour light, Austin felt loved and seen in a way his family never offered. The moment was perfect, but the phone buzzed again with another request, and Austin knew the truth was inching closer to the surface. The California sun warmed Austin's skin as he and Benjamin walked the Malibu beach, waves lapping at their feet. They had arrived 2 days earlier, escaping the New York chill and the constant family texts. Benjamin squeezed his hand, laughing at a seagull stealing a chip from their picnic. "This is what we needed," he said, pulling Austin into an embrace, the golden light making the moment feel timeless. Austin smiled, the weight of the bills lifting for the first time in weeks. They had hiked part of the coastal trail that morning, sharing stories of their early dates and dreams for a house with a yard someday. The trip was healing, but Austin checked his phone once too often, seeing missed calls from home. Back in the rental house that evening, Benjamin cooked grilled fish while Austin set the table. They talked about the family pressure, Benjamin gently suggesting Austin tell his parents about their relationship during the next visit. "I support you no matter what," he said. The conversation flowed into memories of their Yosemite hike the previous year, towering trees and fresh air, making them feel invincible. Austin felt grateful for this man who never demanded but always stood by him. The next day, they drove to a quiet cove, spending hours talking about identity and how society still made things hard for gay men in certain circles. Austin shared how growing up he hid his sketches of male figures, fearing his parents' reaction. Benjamin listened, then shared his own coming-out story, the initial rejection turning to slow acceptance. The trip ended too soon, and back in New York, the reality hit. A new email from his mother listed more expenses, Ryan needing help with his kids' school fees. Austin paid them the promotion money, disappearing fast. At work, the team celebrated his raise with cake, but Austin felt hollow. Benjamin noticed and planned a quiet night in with movies. The two of them cuddled on the couch. During a break, Benjamin brought up the Chicago trip again, urging Austin to visit soon and speak his truth. Austin agreed, booking the flight for the following weekend. In Chicago, the family gathered for a barbecue, Ryan dominating the conversation about his latest court victory. The kids played in the yard, his parents beaming with pride. Austin helped with the grill, his mother pulling him aside to thank him for the payments. "You're such a good son," she said, but the praise felt conditional. Later, Ryan cornered him in the garage. "Hey man, the money really helps. Mom and Dad say you're the reliable one." Austin bit his tongue, wanting to point out the unfairness, but the moment passed. That night in his childhood room, Austin called Benjamin, the conversation turning emotional. "I feel invisible here," he admitted. Benjamin reassured him, the love in his voice a lifeline. The next day, Austin confronted his parents about the constant asks, but they deflected, praising Ryan again. The visit ended with more promises of payment, and Austin flew home heavier than before. The Yosemite trails had been a highlight of their past trips, Austin recalled as he sorted through the latest stack of bills at his desk in the Brooklyn apartment. Benjamin was grading papers at the kitchen table, the two of them sharing a peaceful Sunday. The California vacation had given them strength, but the demands kept coming. Austin transferred the funds, feeling the savings dwindle. Benjamin looked up, sensing the mood. "Let's plan another getaway soon," he suggested. Austin nodded, but the guilt lingered. At the agency that week, Austin led a high-stakes presentation, his confidence shining through, earning applause. The boss pulled him aside, offering mentorship for the next level. Austin celebrated with Benjamin at a cozy cafe in the neighborhood, the two of them holding hands under the table. Benjamin shared stories from his classroom, the students debating love and identity in literature. The conversation turned to their own relationship, Benjamin encouraging Austin to bring him to the next family event. Austin promised to try, but the fear of rejection held him back. The Chicago call came midweek, his father sounding stressed. Ryan had an unexpected expense with a house and they needed more help. Austin agreed, but this time he asked questions, the answers revealing Ryan had taken a luxury trip with the family using credit. The betrayal stung, and Austin spent the evening pacing the apartment, Benjamin listening patiently. "You deserve better than this," Benjamin said, pulling him into a hug. They decided on a short hike in the Hudson Valley that weekend, the fresh air and trails reminding them of Yosemite, the laughter returning. Back at work, Austin confided in his mentor about the family situation, receiving advice to prioritize his own life. The words resonated, and Austin drafted an email to his parents setting a limit, but he deleted it before sending. Benjamin noticed the internal struggle and suggested they document the payments for clarity. The week ended with another request, this one for medical follow-ups. Austin paid, but the resentment grew. In the evening, they danced on the rooftop, the golden light wrapping them in warmth, the moment a reminder of what mattered. Austin felt the truth bubbling closer, the family illusion cracking under the weight of unequal love. The argument started small in the Chicago living room, Austin visiting again for a supposed family meeting. His parents praised Ryan endlessly, the dinner table filled with stories of his success. When Austin mentioned his promotion, they nodded politely, then asked for another transfer. The pressure built, and Austin finally spoke up. "Why is it always me? Ryan has the means, too." His mother sighed. "Ryan is our pride, Austin. You understand." The words cut deep, and Austin left early, the drive to the airport filled with tears. Back in New York, Benjamin met him at the door with open arms. They spent the night talking, Austin pouring out the years of favoritism, the hidden identity, the constant giving. Benjamin held him close, suggesting they take time for themselves. The next day at work, Austin excelled, but the emotional toll showed. His coworker noticed and offered to cover a shift so he could rest. Benjamin planned a special dinner, the two of them cooking together, the kitchen filled with laughter. The bills kept arriving, and Austin discovered through a bank statement that some funds had gone to Ryan for non-essentials. The betrayal fueled a late-night call to his brother. Ryan deflected, claiming it was family help. Austin hung up, frustrated, Benjamin comforting him with stories of his own family growth. They decided on another trip, this time to Colorado for a hike, the mountains promising clarity. The planning lifted their spirits, and Austin felt stronger. The family video call the next week turned tense when his parents mentioned more expenses. Austin pushed back, citing the unequal treatment. They dismissed it, praising Ryan again. Benjamin sat beside him off camera, offering silent support. The call ended abruptly, and Austin broke down the years of hiding, his relationship weighing heavy. Benjamin suggested bringing him to Chicago next time. Austin agreed, the decision feeling like a turning point. The truth was close, ready to surface. The family gathering in Chicago was meant to be celebratory, but tension filled the air. Ryan arrived with gifts for the parents, the kids running around. Austin sat quietly until the conversation turned to finances, his parents thanking him for the payments, then asking for more. The room grew silent when Austin stood up. "This has to stop. I've given enough," while Ryan gets the praise. His mother gasped, his father frowning. "Ryan is our pride, Austin. You chose a different path." The words hung heavy, and Austin felt the years of silence break. Benjamin had flown in that morning, waiting at the hotel. Austin called him after storming out, the conversation raw. "Come to the house," Benjamin said. "It's time." Austin returned with Benjamin, the family staring in shock. "This is Benjamin, my partner," Austin said, the truth finally out. The room erupted in questions, accusations, and tears. His parents struggled with the revelation, the favoritism laid bare. Ryan sat stunned, realizing the impact of his role. Benjamin stood calm, offering kindness. The confrontation lasted hours, emotions raw, but the air clearer. Austin explained the pain of hiding, the sacrifices made for approval. His mother cried, admitting the bias. The night ended with tentative understanding, the truth shattering the illusion, but opening a path to healing. File 7. The days after the revelation were a whirlwind of calls and visits, Austin and Benjamin staying in Chicago to talk through the hurt. His parents listened for the first time, asking questions about their relationship. Ryan apologized for the blind spot, offering to share the financial load. Austin set clear boundaries, the family agreeing to counseling. Benjamin became part of the conversations, his patience helping bridge gaps. The emotional growth was slow but real, Austin feeling seen for the first time. They took a short hike in a nearby park, the fresh air mirroring their Yosemite memories. Back in New York, they returned to their routine, the rooftop dances now lighter. The family sent messages of support, the change gradual but genuine. Austin thrived at work, the promotion bringing new opportunities. Benjamin planned a Colorado trip, the mountains calling them back. The journey had tested them, but strengthened their bond. The Colorado mountains rose around them as Austin and Benjamin hiked the trail, laughter echoing through the pines. The trip marked a new chapter, the family dynamics shifting toward equality. Austin had helped his parents with a sustainable budget, Ryan contributing equally. The calls now included Benjamin, the conversations warm. Austin reflected on the growth from guilt to empowerment, the truth exposing the favoritism but allowing real love to emerge. Benjamin squeezed his hand, the view breathtaking. They talked about the future, a home together, perhaps kids one day. Back in New York, the rooftop felt like home, the skyline a symbol of their resilience. The family visited New York for the first time, meeting Benjamin properly, the dinner filled with stories and acceptance. Austin had learned that love required honesty and boundaries. The journey complete, he stood taller, ready for whatever came next. Is it true that family loyalty demands endless sacrifice, even at the cost of one's own identity, or false, because real love begins with mutual respect and equality?